Through my travels on the net, I met an individual named Universe Edit. Universe Edit was confident that he could influence the world around him using only his mind. Imagine if you could get an extra snack out of the vending machine, land every kickflip, and sink every basket every single time. String theory says that all of these scenarios are possible. This line of reasoning led me to ask myself and others the question, how does the mind affect the world around it? Here's what I found.
Everybody thinks differently and has different beliefs. So I feel like if everyone thought the same, things would just be okay. But, you know, like some people are crazy, some people aren't. Some people think Trump is going to be a good president. Some people don't. But, you have anything?
Well, like she said, but people thinking differently brings different types of things to the world. It makes it different, makes it better. Well, if you put out good, you get good back, good karma. I believe in karma, so if you're, like, you do something bad, I believe something bad's gonna happen to you.
But some people do good things expecting something good to happen back to them. So that's not something you should, no, that's not how you should be. You do good things out of your heart.
Okay, say you find money or a wallet on the ground and you turn it in and you expect that you'll find, like, you expect something good back to happen to you, but you just did a good deed just because instead of expecting anything back.
Okay, well, I know somebody that will do something good, but then she'll be like, I hope something good happens to me just because I just did that, whatever. I'm like, well, you can't think like that because nothing good will happen. You'll just get negativity back to your life. Because that's not how the world works.
You should just do it out of kindness in your heart.
To be honest, it's the thought of there being something or someone higher. So for me, it's for how my mind affects the world around me is that I believe in God. And I believe that not only is he real, but that he loves each and every one of us. So if I believe that and believe what he stands for and who he is, then of course I would use that mindset and thought process to spread that love throughout the world. And if we had more people thinking that way, then maybe this world would be a better place. It's one thing to think positively, but at the same time, if you have absolute truth, then there's no need to question whether or not something's right or wrong. You know it's right. And in doing that and just believing that, you can apply that to your everyday life. You see somebody, you help them out in love. You see someone hurting, you help them out in love. You see somebody hungry, you help them out in love. So if without love there's nothing, without God there's nothing. So this world is nothing without him. So I guess the last thing I have to say is that because of Christ dying for our sins, we have a second chance to live that way in our minds. So we start with the mind, and then it goes to the heart, and then from then we can change the world. Anybody, any person. That's it. That's all I got for you, man.
I feel like it's more mental than anything. I feel like as if the way we perceive things is different for every person. So how one person may view something may be completely different from someone else. So in a nutshell, that's how I feel everything comes together and how we all are attracted to each other in different ways. Everyone has different religions. Some people are not religious. Like I said, it's all mental. I feel like religion is there for people who need it the most, and for some people that works, for some people it doesn't. So it all depends on how you view the topic itself.
I would say that the human mind affects the world around you because, like, the way you think kind of brings energy towards you. Like, if you think positive, like, positive things will come. If you think negative, negative things will come.
Yeah, I feel the human mind affects you by whatever you're doing in life. Society around you, you dictate what you feel it is. So that's what I feel the human mind does.
I think the mind has a lot to do with your positive thinking or negative thinking, and depending on that affects how you judge the world around you. Just in general, like whenever I'm feeling down, like I could just continue like being sad about that one topic, or I could just move on and just think happier. And sometimes I listen to happier music just to feel better, I guess. maintain that positive attitude, you know. So why live in a sad world when you can live in a happy one, you know?
I feel that your reality is influenced by your perception, and your perception is influenced by your attitude. So, by your attitude, you can consciously or unconsciously create your reality.
I feel that your perception of things affects how you go on about your day-to-day life choices. For example, I'm very spiritual, so when I realize that something is occurring at that very moment, I feel that, or I think to myself, oh, this is a sign from the universe. The universe is telling me that this is supposed to happen right now. Same way with meeting people, I always feel like I was meant to meet these people for a specific reason. Something that I've been thinking about a lot recently is my ex-boyfriend. You know, obviously we're not together right now for a reason, but I was meant to meet him because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have met the people that I'm closest to now. This girl, for example, never mind. My roommates, all the people that I live with, all the people that I hang out with, I met all of them through him. And even though we're not together now, obviously, I was meant to meet him sometime in my lifetime.
What I give out is what I will receive. So basically, if I give out a lot of negative energy, I will receive that the same way. So I feel like meditation is a good way to think before you do or think before you say, and it helps produce positive energy.
I feel like your mind can affect the world around you just because your thoughts influence everything. Thoughts influence people. So by kind of controlling your mind, having your mind influence your thoughts by extension, because your thoughts are an extension of your mind, you're going to better control yourself and the world around you. I feel like if you can control your thoughts, if you can control your mind in regards to what you want to do, in regards to whatever your drive is, in regards to whatever it may be, honestly. Let's say that you're a painter and you want to control the world, you can control your thoughts. So you're a painter, you're controlling your mind, you're going to be able to artistically see the world in a way that will really allow you to better capture that, better encapsulate the natural world and what you see within your own heart. Your mind is really... Your mind is more multifaceted and multivariate. It's more complex than we know, honestly. This is a fact. So I feel like just the power contained within the mind is something we can't really fathom yet. And it's something we really have to put more stock in.
They kind of play hand in hand together, in my opinion. I feel like the world around me affects my mind just as equal as my mind affects the world around me. And when I say that, I mean like, if there's certain things going on in the environment, it's going to affect me, and basically I will portray it in my actions. If there's violence going on, then I will react to it accordingly, depending on who I am. I'm the type of person, if there's like, maybe if people are shooting outside or something like that, obviously I'm going to run. My mind is thinking that I don't want to get hit, so I'm going to run as fast as I can. Just like if it was great things going on outside, I would act accordingly. I would probably put on to the happiness that's going around and have fun as well. So it all depends on, I mean, like I said, they play hand in hand. It all depends.
The way you think and the way you perceive things will change the way you look at other people. Racism, for example, the way your mind is set up to believe a certain type of person is, that will affect the way you interact with those other people and things like that.
The way you see mentally will change what you perceive in this whole world. And your mental aspect will see how you feel about different people, how you interact with different people, how you see what life gives you and how you deal with it and how you cope with it. If I look at the world bleak and my mental, if I'm depressed, I'm gonna look at the world bleak and I'm not gonna see the happiness in the world. So it does, your mental situation does affect how you see the world and how you see the people around you.
I think that your mind is a big part of how you perceive things. I feel like if you just have like a negative perception on life, or if you're like more of a negative person, the things around you, you tend to see like the negative things faster than you see like the positives. And yeah, and I think that plays into the spiritual sense too, because like I don't know, just like happier thoughts lead you to like have a happier life. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to go to class, I don't want to do anything. And so like when I say those things, the chances of me not actually getting up and go to class are greater than when I'm like, all right, I got stuff to do and I'm gonna get it done. So yeah, I think it plays a big role.
How does the mind affect the world around us? It doesn't.
I think that the mind affects the world around you because everything that you see is based on your perspective of the world, and that all comes from your mind and your thoughts.
If we're speaking about individuals, then a certain person can either strengthen ideals or can either break or change them. So, well, talking about the election, since it's the most popular topic now, Trump usually spouts a lot of hate speech and xenophobia, so he's already strengthening what people think about Muslims as a whole and is making a bigger negative impact instead of trying to break those thoughts and bring us all together.
I think that if a person in the right state mindset, they can actually change the world, because I have an actual example. Like in the Republic where I am, we had a pretty bad situation, like socially, economically, and we have like different presidents too. And when we had a really nice person, he actually brought things up. Like a lot of people started just doing better, educational-wise, social-wise, and it's because himself, like he put so much effort into that. He was just, I don't know how to say it. A person has to be in the right mindset. So we definitely changed the world. The world today is us. So it's fine for us to be.
I was thinking of it in more of like a perception way. Like the way I see the world is changed by kind of like how I was raised and experiences that I have. And it's not the same as the way you see the world. And so the reason I feel like people differ on things is because nobody's raised in like this, in the same exact way. Everybody has different experiences, and everybody has different like things that have happened to them. And so the reason that like everybody kind of clashes is because I feel like sometimes we lack empathy, and so we lack like the ability to see each other in different people's shoes. And because of that, we end up like disagreeing when some things, it's like if you just look at the other person's perspective, you could definitely see how it could work out their way too.
The mind affects the world in a very subjective manner. I don't think that it's objective by any means. I think that everyone has a different perspective on life and just the world in general. So I would say it's a very subjective kind of, I guess, way of thinking about how you think compared to the way the world works. Examples of that, I mean, just daily life. You walk around, for instance, on a college campus and you see diversity everywhere you look, every angle, every direction you look, it's diverse. But I think diversity also reflects your mindset, your perspective, and how you deal with things. So I think that the mind affects the world through diversity. That's it.
The first phrase that comes to mind for me is perception is reality. So no matter what is actually happening, how one perceives it is, that does become their reality. And it's interesting because sometimes you don't really know what factors into what makes your perception. You know, a person could go through 1 million experiences throughout their life, and all of them play a role into who they are and the decisions they make, but they may not be consciously aware of that at the time, or even in general. So, you know, for example, two people could look at the same event, a catastrophic event, let's say, the death of a loved one, and they could say, one person could say, you know, this is a really sad event, and really be super bummed out about it, and you know, let it affect their mind state for an extended period of time. Another person could say, okay, I lost my grandmother, and you know what, I'm going to honor her memory. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to live for her. So in terms of how does the mind affect the world around us, the mind really that's the main factor, right? There's so many things that go into it that we're not even aware of, but they all form our perception. And you know, it's just interesting because all those different experiences people go through, it makes up who they are and how they act. And it's just interesting to me how people aren't even aware of just even a fraction of that. So it really is everything. Perception is reality.
I think this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you that I've got all the answers. That Schrodinger's cat is definitely alive, and that the universe isn't hurtling toward its eventual heat death. Well, I don't have the answers. And I think the fact that we don't actually makes life a little bit more interesting. Wouldn't you agree? El Daco. Till next time.